So I've picked up a new set of ballistic gel blocks. My old ones were brown and gross and really needed replaced. So to break in the new blocks, I want to try a few things that are a little stupid. Not too long ago, I did a 300 blackout video with this bullet. This is the Speer Gold Dot that is specifically made for the 300 blackout for better expansion performance at the low velocities that we see in that cartridge. So what I want to do today is I want to load it up in 300 Winchester Magnum and see what we get at like 32 or 3300 feet per second versus the, I don't know, I think it was like 1800 feet per second we tested in that 300 blackout video. The main thing I'm looking for is to see if they hold together. The Speer Gold Dot rifle bullets are a bonded bullet that retain pretty much all of their weight. I've tested a bunch of them in a bunch of different cartridges. We've shot them all into gel, or most of them into gel, and we've never run into that issue where sometimes they want to fragment. So I want to see if if these little guys will hold up to 300 blackout, or if they'll hold up to 300 Winchester Magnum velocities. But while we're at it, we'll also shoot the standard 150 grainer. I expect this one to be fine. I think it'll look great. But this 300 blackout version, I expect it to go nuclear. Maybe it'll surprise us. The other one I want to check is the 22 caliber 55 grain version, and I want to test it in 22-250. Now, we shot this bullet in 22-250 just a couple weeks ago with Alliant Reloader TS 15.5, this new powder. Well, whenever I was running those tests, our velocities got kind of crazy, and I stopped after 3 groups just because I was worried about pressure and the gun doesn't belong to me. So the 10 rounds that were too hot, I still haven't unloaded them. So today I think we're just going to go ahead and shoot some of them into gel. So this right here is 37.2 grains of Reloader 15.5, and the velocity should be right about 3780 is my guess. Because the previous charge that we shot, which was 0.4 of a grain lower than these were 3750. So I'm thinking that'll be another good test. We'll see what the 55 grainers look like at nearly 3,800 feet per second. So that's the plan. I think we'll just load up 5 each. With our two different models of 150 grain Gold Dot, we'll load up 5 of each, and we can always come back in and load more if we have to. Now, in the Speer manual, it's right here, number 15, they've got 300 Winchester Magnum data for the 168 grain Gold Dot, but they don't have the 150, which is not a big surprise. Most 300 Win Mag people are going to want to shoot the heavier option, I would imagine. But we do have a bunch of other data for their 150 grain bullets and 165s and so on. And looking at their standard 168 data versus their Gold Dot 168 data, the numbers are pretty close as far as charge weights go, max charge weights. So after looking this over and thinking it through, I am going to shoot 80 grains of Reloader 26. I expect 32 to 3,300 feet per second, but we'll just have to see how it goes. So my last couple videos, I've skipped over the reloading portion, so I'm not going to do that today. I'll take you guys along as we load up our 10 rounds. So let's get started. So this Peterson brass that I'm using has already had the shoulder bumped. I did that months ago. So the only step I need to do for sizing is to use an expanding mandrel to open these up. So I've got my expanding mandrel die from 21st Century with a 306 expander installed. So I just need to run these over the expander and we'll be ready to load. So I'm just going to quickly wipe the necks with a Q-tip to get most of the lube that was on the expander out of there. This brass hasn't been cleaned, so that's not all lube. A lot of it's just gunk. For primers, I've got the Federal GM 215Ms. I really should have cleaned up these case mouths before I primed them, but I wasn't really thinking about it. There's still time. Whenever I'm doing this to primed brass, I'm just always careful not to do it like this so that the shavings are going to fall downward near my nice new primer. So I'll just give them a little bit of a downward tilt and then maybe a tap. Don't need anything crazy here. Just want to clean up that chamfer so the bullets seat smoothly. All right, 80 grains, Reloader 26. Dump it out in my little bowl so it's easier to deal with. And I've had my scale warming up for the last hour or so. So even the biggest Lee scoop here is not going to be even anywhere close to 80. So 63.7, and then I'll just manually trickle it up a little bit. Man, I love this little funnel. Someone had sent me this quite a while back. It's from Precision Hardcore Gear, and I never use anything else whenever I'm loading 30 caliber. It's just small and compact and light. It's never in the way, right? It just kind of joins the pile of crap on my bench very naturally. So 10 out of 10, long-term review on the Precision Hardcore Gear funnel, man. If I remember correctly, they're stupid expensive. A little too far that time. There we go. I guess we could look at case fill. It's a pretty full case. Right up there at the shoulder. All right, so it seems important that I not mix these up. So I should probably be careful. First thing I need to check my seating stem and see if this one that I've got in my die is going to fit these bullets okay. All right, I think this one's going to work. So I'll back this die out a bunch. Run a case up in there. Should feel it touch here in just a second. There it is. And I'll back out at least one turn from there. So that was about a turn and a quarter. All right, we should be ready to rock. I'm starting with the standard Gold Dot. So these have got the little boat tail, and I'll try seating them down to 3.340 inch overall length, which is the standard number for 300 Win Mag. I need to come down 130. It's actually like 134, I think, so. All right, we'll see there where that puts us. We should still be a couple thousandths long, and we are. So we're 4 thousandths long. I'm going to go ahead and seat the next one. We'll make sure that it's about the same. 3.346. Tell you what, I'm going to bring it down 5, and we'll just roll with that. It doesn't really matter. We don't have any magazine we're worried about fitting into or anything like that. So close enough is certainly good enough. And that's that. All right, switching over to the 300 blackout version. If I remember correctly from that 300 blackout video, the seating die setting was pretty darn close. So I'm just going to come out like, I don't know, that was like 30, and we'll see where we're at. That first one's 20 thousandths long, and the second one here is pretty much exactly the same at 3.360. So let's come down 20. And I'll run them back through. All right, that's that. Let's get out to the range. So here's one of my old blocks beside one of the new blocks. A little bit of difference there. Definitely time to replace these. Now, both the old and the new are from Clear Ballistics. So this is all synthetic gel. My old blocks were the 10% FBI blocks, but the new ones I bought are 20% NATO blocks. So we're going to see a lot less penetration, I think, which I'm really happy about, which is the whole reason I bought these, because with the old blocks, most high power rifle stuff would penetrate between a full block and a block and a half. So you always had to stack up your blocks if you hope to catch the bullet. I'm hoping this stuff, the 20% NATO, I'm hoping it's going to be able to stop most stuff in a single block. And I think that's going to make testing a whole lot easier. Okay, I want to start with the most interesting one. This is the 150 grain 300 blackout version Speer Gold Dot in 300 Win Mag. I'm going to sit down right here and shoot offhand. So the blocks are lined up right there, and I'm just going to sit here about 10 feet away, 10 or 12 feet, and shoot offhand. I've got my magneto speed chronograph hooked up, so hopefully we'll get velocities. And I didn't want to put any muzzle device on this, so no suppressor, no brake. Who knows what our bullet's going to do as it's exiting the muzzle. If I destroy a magneto speed bayonet, I could live with that. I don't want to, but we can deal with that. All right, let's get started. So this first velocity was 3301, and it did make it into the second block. I don't know if it's still in one piece. It certainly looks like it. I don't see any petals going out into the gel anywhere else. Same deal in the first block. Looks like maybe one tiny little bit popped off right at entry. Man, the shapes of that wound channel are really, really cool. Very cool. All right, let's shoot another one. My beautiful gel fell in the dirt. All right, so this guy stayed in the first block. So that's awesome. We're 2 for 2. We've captured both of them. Let me get set back up and I'll shoot a couple of the standard ones. And I guess I should probably flip them around and shoot the other direction. All right, so we got both of these, the standard gold dots. And both of them penetrated just into the second block. So we've captured all 4. This one here, the second one we shot of the 300 blackout bullets, looks like the wound channel from a later bullet might have gone right through it. So if we get one that looks a little bit weird, that might be it. Okay, I'm going to move the magneto speed over to the 22-250 and we'll shoot a couple of those. Okay, we're lined up for 22-250. Okay, that was 3784 feet per second. And we got it. Looks like it went through about 3/4 of the first block. Let's shoot another one. All right, looks like the second one hit about halfway on the first block. So this is the problem with gel block testing in general, especially in bulk. You know, if you're testing 1 or 2 things, you can keep up with it, but the gel blocks just become a mess very quickly. But we got what we needed. Tell you what, I'm already happy with the NATO choice because we just captured 6 bullets with 6 shots and none of them really even came close to exiting. So that was a big problem with the 10% blocks. Take 5 shots and hope to capture 2 of them, but none of that problem today. All right, I'm going to dig these out. Let's get back to the bench. We'll weigh them out, have a look at them. So we have got total devastation going on here, folks. So this is the standard 150 grain gold dot. These were right at 3,250 feet per second. We'll weigh it here in just a second, but if we lost anything major, I'm not seeing it. So like all 5 of our petals are still intact and it's looking pretty good. Here's the other one. And definitely got complete expansion. Pretty darn amazing. So next is the 300 blackout version. Little bit more complete devastation here. Can't see the base of the bullet, but it's a pretty big chunk. Let's look at the other one here. Yep, same deal here. Just kind of wrapped back around on itself, I guess. The velocity with these was a little bit higher. So the standard, the average was right about 3250, and with the 300 blackout version, it was 3290. So we had about 40 feet of extra velocity, I guess, just from the softer bullet. A little less resistance, obturating, and then traveling down the barrel would be my guess. But we also had bullet length differences and, you know, boat tail versus concave base. So last up is our 55 grainer. These were going, well, we had one shot that was 3784 and one that was 3783. So that's right about what we expected. I'd have to say these probably resemble the 300 blackout bullets more than they do the other ones. Like these really got hammered. We can see the base. Let's see if we can see the, yeah, we can see the base of the other one. But as I was digging these out of the gel and sticking knives in my fingers and stuff, there were some shards of copper and lead in the block. So we definitely lost small pieces, but none of these truly broke up, right? Petals are intact. The bonding is all perfect. Let's see if I've got a, yeah, here's a traditional cup and core bullet where the core is not bonded to the jacket, and you can see they separate. And usually when you take standard bullet like this and push it too hard, you'll end up with the jacket and core separate and you get a lot of fragmentation. So that's what's so cool about these Gold Dots and other bonded bullets, that all the way out to the edges, the core and the jacket stay together. All right, let's take some measurements. I think I got most of the gel out of these, but just kind of bringing that up, that if any gel gets trapped, it can mess up your weight readings. So here's a 150, 127.9. So this is the standard 150. Let's try the other one. 132.1. So it looks like these two lost about 20 grains. So next, this is the 300 blackout version. Here's the first one, 109.6, and the second one, 100.9. So these lost about 50 grains. So that's about a third of their weight that they lost. That is still pretty darn surprising to me, because I really didn't expect them to hold together. It's kind of the point of this video, right? I expected these to suffer even more damage than this. So very impressive stuff. All right, the 55 grainers. I think we lost quite a bit on these. There's the first one, 37.1, and the next one, 40.2. That's not bad. You know, nearly 3,800 feet per second out of a little 55 grain bullet. Holding together like that, it's quite a bit to ask. So this was a pretty cool test. Now, just to give you guys a reference, in case you didn't see the 300 blackout video, this is the standard Gold Dot fired at low velocity in a 300 blackout, and then here it is in 300 Win Mag. And here's a second one. And here is what the 300 blackout version looked like in 300 blackout. We were shooting pretty low velocities though. We were kind of trying to simulate downrange target velocities. So it wasn't exactly point blank like it was today. So a little different story today. All right, folks. I think that's about it. I appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.